I'm Michael Fox, and this is the Prospector Podcast. And I have joining me a new company to us. I have Zayn Kalyan, the CEO of Scorpio Gold. Welcome, Zayn.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. We met for the first time in Quebec City at the mining event, and I was pretty impressed with your project, your company, the direction you guys were going, and some of the news that was on the verge of happening that has now happened. And I think our timing right now is perfect to introduce you to everybody. So let's start with what I call the 10,000-foot view. What's the company? Where are you? What you doing? And why are you doing it?
Yeah, so Scorpio Gold is a company that's been around for quite a long time. I think many of your listeners may have been familiar with the company kind of in its previous iterations. But the company is I took over the company at the beginning of last year, really refocused the effort. And really today, Scorpio, we'll call Scorpio 2.0 or modern Scorpio, is very focused on its Manhattan project, located just north of Tonopah, Nevada, in Manhattan, Nevada. The Manhattan project is a past producing mine that was owned by Kinross, or has been owned by Kinross until 2021. Prior to that, it was mined by Echo Bay, and was mined by a couple different operators prior to that, all the way stretching all the way back to the 1950s. And really, the district, we'll call it it's a district scale opportunity that Scorpio has been able to consolidate nearly 75-80% of to this date. And the district has been plagued by disseparate ownership. The core resource and the core focus of the project is between a past producing underground that Scorpio's held since 2011 called the Goldwedge. And then across the road, you have the Kinross / Echo Bay East and West pit, which is the historic Manhattan mine. So with the consolidation of this ground and bringing both these projects together, Scorpio has been able to really build a district scale opportunity where we see a lot of potential to build a multi-million-ounce resource and beyond. And we're feeling very confident not only kind of in the scale and size, but beyond that, the grade and recovery, historic grade and recovery, the current grade and the historic recovery, give us a lot more confidence in where we can actually take this as an asset as it stacks up against other projects in Nevada, and really sets it apart in a league of its own. The historic project that Scorpio's owned, the Mineral Ridge Mine, is something that we recently announced that we are selling. And with the cash that we realized from that sale, we'll be really able to fully invest in Manhattan and really focus all of our efforts on that project. And that's really where our investors, we have really great shareholders, really great investors, very strong mining entrepreneurs, high net worth individuals who are very convicted in the project. We have one institution. But then alongside that, we have a great technical team led by Leo Hathaway. And Leo is an experienced geologist, has had a number of exits with the Lumina Group, Ross Beatty's Lumina Group, and really Leo brings a lot of pedigree to the team, and we're very excited to really get moving here with more aggressive exploration plan in the next 6 months on the back of this sale, and having this cash to do so will allow us to really unlock the value of Manhattan.
Yeah, this says a number of things that I personally, when I'm looking at a project, I get excited about. You're near an old existing line, so you got historic data that's available to you that helps you decide where you're going. And the other thing that I like is that you've been able to consolidate all this land package around it so that it has become a district scale, because sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and in mining that's often the case. So let's talk about how you were able to pull all these parts together so that you have, as you said, 80% of the district locked in now into your company.
Yeah, so Scorpio was really to make the Manhattan district work, you really needed both projects, and Scorpio was fortunate to be in the right place at the right time, with relation to its ownership of Goldwedge and Kinross looking to divest in non-core assets. But at the same time, like Kinross still retains a 2% NSR on the Manhattan ground. And it really does position the project very well with kind of the sunsetting or the final years of the core of Round Mountain. So Round Mountain being located 10 miles to the northwest on the same caldera structure, very similar geology, and being located that close to Round Mountain does position this project to really be a feeder as the kind of the mine reaches the end of its core mine life. And Kinross looks to backfill that 30,000 ton per day processing facility that they do have. So I think Kinross was looking to divest in non-core assets in 2021. I think that's probably a little bit of a change to date with obviously where gold prices are and new management and kind of how things have evolved. But that was really to the benefit of Scorpio, and I think we're in a good spot today to really be able to unlock a lot of value. The price of gold has definitely helped, and I think there's a lot of renewed focus on assets in Nevada with under the current Trump administration and assets in the U.S. in general. And I think ultimately we're in a really good spot with the core pieces of the core ground and the core resource. And then if you look at it from like a holistic standpoint, there's been so much historical exploration. So the resource that we're going to be putting out is going to be based on over 1,800 historic drill holes, over 140,000 meters of historic drilling. It really does. There's so much historic work and data that really de-risks the opportunity. And then when you take that even a step further, we have water rights, we have infrastructure, we have an existing plan of operations that covers the Goldwedge underground and the permitted 400 ton per day test mill that we have there. So it does kind of give the infrastructure, the water rights, all those things, they just further de-risk the opportunity from a permitting standpoint, which really does set this up with an asset that's special or unique in terms of grade and recovery. And then obviously expansion opportunity. It really sets it up well to be a great target. Call it for mid tier, and we're going to work the project like we're going to build it and really develop it and go all the way to production. But at the same time, just given where assets are in Nevada and where this thing sits, we think it's likely that it probably will it will be a great acquisition target for some of these mid tiers in the immediate future.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. Now, you mentioned 2021. Is that when you started to acquire the land mass around your existing property, or is that just
Yeah,
when?
2021 is when Scorpio closed the purchase of the project from Kinross of the Manhattan project.
Okay, now, was there other properties that needed to be pieced together after that purchase, or did that just consolidate
We
everything in one tidy little bow?
that got the core of the project, but at the same time, we've actually added more ground. We did some pretty aggressive staking last year. We're intending on continuing to expand that land package even more, acquiring more packages from neighboring parties. But at the same time, like we have the core of what we need, and we really do have the core of the resource. So we've consolidated the majority of it.
That's a beautiful thing, and probably all it's when push comes to shove, probably all it cents on the dollar, given the amount of work that is historically done by the preceding owners of the land.
Exactly.
Perfect. Now, what has been done as far as exploration work on this land since you've acquired it in 2021 to where you are at today?
Yeah, so we did a fair amount of exploration last year, airborne geophysics, and then we drilled a fair amount of meterage and got great results, some really good, you can see the results on our website, but we were very happy with kind of the initial results we got from the diamond drilling campaign we did last year. And this year we've just continued to build on that. So we continued to restarted the drill in May. We've been drilling since the beginning of May, and our intention is to continue to drill all the way through next year and continue to add actually more drills. So in September, our intention is to add another RC rig and then probably another diamond rig immediately following that as well. So be very aggressive on the exploration front, continue to just really focus on adding ounces to the baseline resource that we're going to be putting out imminently. And that baseline resource we're very happy with, and I think it'll show the true opportunity to really expand this to that multi-million ounce potential.
Is it expandable in multi directions, or is there one particular direction or another that you're able to step out and increase the resource?
Yeah, regional targets are actually open at all directions, but I would say that the most interesting targets are really along this Reliance fault, which runs northwest to southeast, and that structure is where the core of the resource is today. And just following that structure, at the other end of it, we have 3 miles to the southeast of the core resource. We have another two past producing pits that have a historical resource that we're very, very happy, and we're going to be updating and putting out to the market here imminently. But having that resource and those two past producing pits 3 miles on the same structure, and then having this big gap zone that's never been explored and never been drilled between the two, that really does present a great opportunity to kind of show the continuity of this mineralization and be able to add ounces there as well.
So with the exploration work that you've done, have you found any surprises that you weren't expecting, or is it just simply reconfirmed what your expectations were for the property that you acquired?
Yeah, to date we're feeling very happy with the results that we've gotten. I think they confirm all of our kind of hypothesis and what we believe, what we understand about the project. But what I would say is that, like with any exploration project, you learn more. The more data, the more drilling you do, you learn more and more about the geology. So we're constantly learning more and more about how the structures work and where they move and all those things. But at the same time, we're on a high level, like at the end, yeah, we're very very happy with the results, and they do support all that.
Okay, wonderful. Now, you had a well-financed exploration program that was in operation already this year that's chugging away. Um, but Monday of this week, or last week, pardon me, you made an announcement. You sold off a piece of property, and for a nice tidy sum that added to the treasury without diluting shareholders. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the sale of Mineral Ridge, which historically was the core asset for Scorpio, was really kind of critical for us to be able to really fully focus on Manhattan. It is a past producing. It's a fully permitted mine that is past producing, and Scorpio is producing nearly 300,000 ounces out of Mineral Ridge. But at the same time, it's a very tough project. It has a high carrying cost. Economics are tough. That's not to say it's not it just needs the right kind of operator and the right kind of investment, and it just really didn't fit our investors' profile for what we were looking to focus on. So by selling it for an all cash deal, it really does allow us to fully invest in Manhattan.
So the amount of cash came in, that basically, how far into the exploration future does that give you guys cash and treasury to move now versus before?
Yeah, like it finances us through to kind of expand our initial program to 15,000 meters. We originally budgeted for 6,300 meters this year. 15,000 is our target. And then beyond that, it allows us to add another drill and just continue to be aggressive in exploration into early next year. The full amount is great because it does give us working capital, like on the deferred payments. It's $5 million basically up front, and the rest of the capital is deferred over a year. But having that kind of leak out does give us some operating some cash to kind of work with SG&A, and the intention is drill aggressively, explore aggressively, get the price up, get our valuation up, and then on the back of that, probably go and look at raise more capital. One thing I would say though is that we do have a fair amount of warrants at 20 cents, and I think those are kind of a built-in financing as well. We just started to see some of those being exercised, so as that kind of starts to happen, I think that'll allow us to realize more capital.
Yeah, lots of positive check marks on the balance sheet with everything that's been going forward. So, of the 15,000 meter drill program, how much of it's been completed so far? How much is left to go? And has there been any assay results come in from that yet?
Yeah, so the first results from that are imminent. We've drilled about 5,000 meters so far. And we're gonna, as we have the second drill, we'll be able to get through that balance of the 10,000 meters here pretty quickly.
Has there been assay results come back yet on that, or are we still waiting for assays from the lab?
We haven't gotten the first ones back, but they should be any day now.
Okay, more good news to look at down the road. So,
Exactly.
what, as Rick Rule likes to refer to us, it's one of those questions that Rick always asks that I kind of like to copy and ask is what is the unknown that you're trying to find out by your drill program?
Well, really, the focus of this drill program is to add ounces to the resource. So there's this core gap zone between the Goldwedge underground and the historic West Pit. That's been the core focus of this past drill program, and that's where we've been drilling all these 5,000 meters. That's where we believe we can add 200,000 to 300,000 ounces pretty easily, and then build on the existing resource.
So you believe the resources from where it stopped in between where the gap ends at opposite ends, those resources will continue through the
It's
land
pretty
that the gap is.
it's pretty obvious that they're contiguous. It's a very small area, and that it was the historic property boundary between the two projects.
Wonderful. I look forward to seeing some drill results coming up. It's good to see you guys all cashed up, and this is going to be an exciting project for our audience to follow. So thank you for joining me today. And if people want to continue to follow the Scorpio Gold story, how would they do so?
They can follow us on our website, scorpiogold.com. You can find us on social media as well, and just feel free to reach out to Zayn at scorpiogold.com as well.
Wonderful. I look forward to having you on for future discussions as the drill results starting to come across your desk, and we get to share them with the public. So thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Michael.
Scorpio Gold is a paid sponsor of the Prospector News. The Prospector News podcast is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and are not to be taken as investment advice. Listeners need to do their own due diligence and seek advice of a licensed investment advisor.